Well, it's definitely earned me more money. Just like Decatur, they were paying 70 cents more for summer corn there in August. We were hauling corn 100 mile for 40 cents, and we're making 30 cents, and I wouldn't even known that price was probably on there. I wouldn't have thought of calling Decatur, but when you go to the Grower's Edge page, then it takes all that running around out of it for you.
Good afternoon, welcome to GrainTV. My name is Cody Bills, this is Logan Burgess. Today is Wednesday the 5th, and we had the market moving a little higher here today. Corn for March delivery trading up 1.5 cents, soybeans trading up 3 cents, wheat in Chicago up 3 cents, and Kansas City wheat trading up 4 3/4. Now, some of the news that came out this morning involved ethanol production. Logan, was that a surprise? Did that move the market?
You know, it wasn't a huge market mover here. Take a look at the chart that we've been following throughout the marketing year. The red bars are weekly production. The black line is what we saw last year, and you can see we had a slight decline week over week here. Last week, ethanol production averaged 895,000 barrels per day. Right now, there's not as much incentive for ethanol facilities to be crushing corn as what we saw a few months ago. The ethanol crush margin in Iowa right now sits about $2.46 per bushel, and really two factors have weighed on that margin here over the last couple weeks. One is the price of corn, which has continued to move higher, which we'll talk about here in a bit. The other, though, is the price of ethanol in Iowa, down about 30 cents a gallon. So those two factors combined right now aren't a great source of motivation for ethanol facilities to be moving a lot of grain, and we've seen that affect basis. There's some key plants in the Corn Belt that have backed off spot corn basis here over the last week, and I think in large part that has to do with the crush margins that we're seeing right now. So from a producer standpoint, I think that's an important story to keep an eye of right now in terms of basis, but in terms of future prices, that ethanol story hasn't been doing a lot really to support things here over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, one story to keep an eye on too here is the possible increase in demand from the EU when we're talking about corn exports. We have seen Ukraine start to taper their exports here due to a harsh winter, and we've seen really some big sales in the last couple weeks. We saw three actual sales to Spain. Those are very atypical here for this time of the year, and I would look for possibly the EU to start picking up more and buying more of this U.S. corn here as we have more competitive global prices.
Yeah, so right now it seems like domestically not a lot to support the corn market, but the outside markets, the export market, may be a little bit more supportive for corn. Let's take a look at that March daily chart here. You can see here with today's close, the 5th day in a row of a positive move here for the corn market, but I think right now is an important time to at least take a look at making some sales, especially if this market can approach 450 there on the March futures contract. I think it's an important time to take a look at making some sales for a number of reasons. If you look at this chart here on the bottom, we have the RSI, the Relative Strength Index. That basically measures when a move is overbought or oversold. And you can see right now the RSI is sitting at around 76. Anytime it's over 70, technical traders look at that as an indication the market's overbought and may be due for a correction. Additionally, right now, if you look at March corn on the weekly chart, we're back around the high end of the recent trade range. So anytime those two factors combine, I think it's a good time to at least take a look at your local cash market and see if it's a good place to make maybe some pickup sales here.
Yeah, absolutely, and one of the things that has been driving corn and soybeans is really the weather down in South America. We are seeing very hot weather in the growing regions for Argentina and southern Brazil. As you can see here, the map on the right, we're not seeing a lot of precipitation down there to ease that trouble. Now, keep in mind that the 11 to 14-day forecast, it is looking a little bit more favorable with cooler weathers and more moisture. So keep an eye on that, because we may that may start to add a little bit of selling pressure here as we move closer toward that actually happening.
Yeah, you know, the March soybean contract today inched a little bit higher, but certainly lost the momentum that we saw in yesterday's trade. Take a look here at the chart. It's a candlesticks chart of that March contract, as I said. Similar to corn right now, we're kind of bumping our head against some technical resistance in today's trade. So right now, I think just looking at these chart patterns here, it's eerily similar to what we saw back in early January. And like you said, Cody, right now we may be getting some support from the weather down in South America, but there still continues to be private analysts that look for a crop out of Brazil above 91 million metric tons. This weather event really hasn't changed that projection. So similar to corn, I'd be looking at making some sales on soybeans, especially anytime we see a good run like this, 5 continuous days of a move higher, it's a good time to at least look at making some sales. One thing that's going to be driving the market early in tomorrow's action is the export sales report. Here you can see what the trade's expecting out of that report. Now this is combined sales for the current and the new crop. As you can see, corn expected 900,000 to 1.2 million tons expected reported there sold. Soybeans, a little bit on the light end here from what we've been seeing here in recent weeks, 550 to 850,000 tons. And wheat expected to be at 500 to 750,000 tons. We'll be reporting on that tomorrow on GrainTV. Thanks all for joining us here. We'll see you tomorrow for the export sales report.